Welcome to another episode of the Best Friends Discuss podcast. I'm your host, Mike, with my co-host,
Brad?
and we are doing another episode of Justified Asshole, because you know what we are?
Assholes.
Assholes. Here you go, Brad. I don't want this anymore. Do you want to read the first one, or you want me to read the first one?
Don't matter.
You want me to do this and do that?
No, I don't want you to
Okay.
do what you're doing.
All right. So, am I the asshole for having security at my mother's funeral, having certain people barred entry? My parents divorced 10 years ago. My father initiated it. He was seeing someone else and wanted to see if the grass was greener on the other side. All right. I neither am for or against his reasoning, but I was against how he treated my mother after they finalized their separation. One key event that stands out is in deliberating how assets, or rather debt, was divided. My father promised my mother that he'd still around, still be in her life, even be friends, and see if they could rekindle their marriage, but only if my mother took every penny of debt. To all men and women out there, no, don't do that. My mother was naive to agree to it. Because once the divorce was finalized, my father was on a plane in a matter of days, off to live his new life. Jet plane. Don't know when I'll be back again. It should be obvious that none of us were happy with my father, and I've been no contact the entire time. My mother passed away 3 weeks ago. She is survived by my two siblings and I. I was in charge of the funeral. I knew some of my cousins on my mother's side blamed my mother for their divorce and actively stayed in touch with my father. Imagine that my mother's family took my father's side in all of this. I also knew there would be a non-zero chance my father would show up, and if he did, it would not be to pay his respects. So I hired security for the funeral and church service. Whew, this does not sound good. Long story short, my father and his new wife showed up. They were barred entry. One of my aunts got very upset and caused a scene and let slip her daughter, my cousin, invited him. So I had security escort my cousin out of the funeral too. This event has caused a rift between families, or at least embiggened the one already there. And a few of my aunts and a lot of my cousins think I went overboard, some even removing me from Facebook. Oh no, not Facebook. Join Trump's new media thing. Was I the asshole in this situation? For what it's worth, I was not super close to those who were ejected from the funeral. Well, that's a plus. Nor the ones who caused a fuss. Hey, that's also a plus. I can live a happy life having zero contact with them again, so I've lost nothing. I'm still no contact with my father, who flew out for the funeral. Whatever. There's nothing I'm really hiding here. I was the only one who knew about the affair because my father left his email open at home when he went off to work. Ooh, bad move. And me, being an immature teen, decided to snoop. Ooh, good move. In them, his mistress, now wife, tried to convince him of fantasy things my mother did and tried to turn him against her. Things like she should ask my dad something my mother did to him that was maybe insignificant at the time and twisted it around so it became a bigger deal. Like one instance is when I was much younger, my mother went to bingo without telling him. My dad was the sole income maker at the time. My mom won a fair bit of money, but my dad was upset she never told him. She went beforehand with his money, something that was resolved 10 years prior and which was insignificant in the grand scheme of things. She blew it up bigger than it was. Many such cases like this, she knew blew things up to convince him to leave my mom. What a bitch. This is why I don't fault my father for the divorce or separation. I fully blame the other woman. It sucked being 17 at the time, but that's life. People get divorced, and it's not my place to get in the middle of my parents' relationship. However, I was upset with his behavior after the fact and the one event I mentioned. Much of my mom's extended family are more traditional and view divorce as a tragedy, no matter the circumstances. They blame my mom for not trying harder to keep the marriage together. I hate that. I straight up hate that. Once the divorce was finalized, my mother became an outcast to most of her family. This is why a lot of them favored my dad because he convinced my mom that she was why their marriage fell apart. He was a textbook manipulator. I fucking hate that. I hate that so much of blaming her of not trying hard enough to keep a marriage together. I fucking hate that so much of both the facts of I wonder if by traditional it's also like no sex before marriage.
No, I would doubt that.
Then I would also say their traditional view is also bullshit then. I think divorce is fine. But I mean, then again,
Haven't been?
Yep.
You also haven't been married.
ooh, shot through the heart, and you're to blame. You give divorce a good name. So what are your thoughts?
I mean, whatever. She was in charge of the frickin' funeral, so she can do what she wants.
Yeah, good on you for hiring security, and I'm glad to hear that the family members that she is no longer in contact with, she wasn't close with them anyway. So it's real just easy taking care of situation in my books. So anything else?
No, I mean, this was the clear cut, like, whatever. This was her wanting, once again, affirmation for something that she didn't need affirmation for.
But was a good story anyway. Next.
No, right? Yeah.
That one.
Okay. Would I be the asshole if I went to HR anyways? All right. So we're gonna skip that, right? I
Yeah,
think
for
so.
now. Yeah.
So I work in engineering, and I manage multiple projects, each one with one or more contractor companies. It's pretty standard practice to give contractors and key employees my phone number so I can contact them. Rona. The job requires a lot of on-the-fly decisions, and that way they can text me with whatever's wrong and I can get started on solving it. I also don't have a company phone, so I'm left using my personal phone for work. It sucks a bit because that makes me available 24/7, but usually people are considerate and at least apologize if they're texting late at night about work. Tuesday night, I started getting a number of texts from a field supervisor from a third-party company. They were very inappropriate. I replied that I was very uncomfortable with the conversation and stopped replying. The guy briefly apologized, then resumed texting. Honestly, he sounded drunk from the nonsensical things typed between compliments. He also started calling my phone nonstop. Later, I went to my manager. That I was uncomfortable working with the supervisor. I often am alone at the factory with contractors while we inspect machines and installations, and that I'd like to remove him from the team. In theory, something I'd have authority to do. My boss thought I was getting too worked up over nothing, admonished me to not care so much, and told me that it's a normal thing to happen and that I should learn to deal with it, as it would be the last time. While I talked to him, he was also smiling the whole time and even cracked a joke. Your fault for being pretty, haha. Today, I have invited the owner of the third-party company here so I can talk to him. I want to have a supervisor removed. Despite that, I expect that his response will be in line with my bosses. They are longtime friends, and the supervisor will remain working here. We don't want to short-staff them during the project. It might be months before they can replace him, and by then the project is over anyways. Would I be the asshole if I went to HR anyways and told them what happened? I'm unsure if they can do anything at all since the supervisor is a contractor, but I don't feel safe and I don't know what to do. At the very least, maybe they'll back me up if I have him removed from this site. So, I guess we'll read the edit.
Yeah.
The evil has been defeated. I had a meeting today with the owner of the third-party company, and while he didn't buy it right away, his partner was appalled when I gave them my phone to read the text. The supervisor has been removed, and they promised me that he'll be fired as well so he can't tarnish the company further. Today we won.
Winning. Winning.
No, because once again, this is another idiot that just wants confirmation for what they already know is right. This is, like I said, asshole's gone way down.
Okay.
I mean, do you have anything other to add besides the fact of, yes, you should have gone to HR? Duh.
To be honest, I wasn't paying attention.
Why are we doing this?
Well, because for the juicier ones, like I picked this one because of the title, and I meant to read
And you
all
didn't
of
read
them,
any of
and then some asshole came over last night to play games, so that was you.
So you didn't do any of your work.
No, I didn't.
You failed because this one sucks.
Yeah, this one did suck. The other one was way better.
I don't even think the other one was way better.
Just be more positive.
I'm positive you're the asshole in this situation.
Probably. Guilty.
But yeah, this is dumb. Like, yeah, you should call HR. Duh.
So what happened? I was texting Dane back. I'm sorry.
I could tell. Some drunk person that she kind of works with was sending her inappropriate texts.
Oh, okay. Cool. Move on. We'll get to a better one. All right. Emma the asshole for screaming and insulting the phone clerk after her company tried to steal from me. I had a root canal a month ago. The clinic charged my insurance $800 and me $1,600 I paid. But the root canal was botched and my regular dentist had to pull the tooth out because it was more painful after the operation than before. Another $1,000 I had to pay. This morning, the clinic that did my root canal called saying that my insurance didn't pay their share, so they are billing me the extra $800. I changed jobs in early May. I now have a different health insurance, and my old insurance won't talk to me. The woman on the phone, Emma, says I have to pay $800 or they will collect from me. I asked her to discuss the bill since I'm already out $2,600 for a botched surgery. Emma refuses. Basically, she says she is unable to influence my bill and that it is against policy to let me talk to her superior. I asked her to just hand the phone to her superior. She repeatedly refuses and tells me that my only option is to pay and keep quiet. You know what this kind of reminds me of? Even though I'm guessing, I'm guessing they called her. What? It reminds me of the scam calls that I keep getting about Vanessa, about my bill to a dealership that I have owned my car for 6 years at this point, and I got it from my aunt and uncle, so I mean, for free, so I don't know. Fucking scam calls. I lost my cool and started screaming like, quiet? You want me to be fucking quiet while you fleece me? Emma hung up on me. I called back. Emma again. I continued lambasting her.
Lambasting her.
What does that mean?
Just yelling at her.
Oh. Lambasting her. She hangs up. I call back. I scream, etc. I called back nonstop for close to 3 full hours, every time getting more angry. And after a couple of hours, I was not even bothering to ask Emma to let me talk to her superior anymore. I was just insulting her. Did you write this?
No.
I'd call. She'd, for instance, sigh and say, "We have other patients. Please stop calling." And I go, "If you want me to stop calling, stop being a fucking cunt." Insults included calling her all swear words I could think about. Fat bitch McGee. Saying her parents are ashamed of her, telling her to roll up my bill and shove it up her rectum, etc. She kept basically begging me to calm down and saying shit like, I can't do anything to help you. Please, I'm a human being. Have empathy." To which I replied that I am a fucking human being too, and her company is trying to fuck me over. She chose to work for these people, and she chose to refuse to hand the phone to her superior. It took 3 hours, but her manager finally picked the phone from Emma and tried to lambaste me for being rude to the clerk. What does lambast mean? I screamed even harder at the manager, who also swore that it was totally impossible to lower my bill. Then I finally said, I don't care how much money it cost me, but my next call is to a lawyer, and I'm suing the clinic for malpractice immediately. All the it's impossible to lower your bill went away, and the manager canceled the bill from 800 to 0 in 1 second as soon as suing was on the table. So since Emma could get her manager on the phone, and since my bill could be canceled all along, and they just tried to steal from me, I feel like I did nothing wrong. My wife is upset at me for screaming at the poor girl, but it worked. As was I the asshole?
This is what I'm talking about. This is a good story.
So, yes, this is a good story, but again, I feel like this is just for the verification, like how you were saying for the other two.
No, because this actually does have like a different side of like, could I possibly be? The other one was literally like, oh, I didn't want my father there. Okay.
Right.
Cool. The other one was, I had inappropriate text. Would I be the asshole if I did exactly what I'm supposed to do, which is go to HR?
No,
there's
that one.
no downside at all to any of these.
I agree with that one, but
this one is literally like something bad also happened. Like you yelled for 3 hours at somebody, calling her every bad thing you could possibly think of, and it's not like, oh, she hung up. Well, that's done. You're like, nah, I'm just going to keep calling back. For 3 more hours, I'm just going to continually like wear her down to the point where she's eventually just like, here, you have to speak to my manager because I can't do this anymore.
Right. I'm just saying, like, this has a better story, but I feel like it's one of those aspects of it.
So are you going with the not the asshole theory?
Oh, no, he's for sure the asshole.
See? No, I'm on the other side. He is absolutely not the asshole.
So, okay. Sorry, I guess I jumped the gun. Yes, it's more of everyone sucks. Everyone's the asshole in this. Is she should have, like, if someone asked for the manager, I know, it's turned into such a meme now, but like obviously she is not helping the situation. He asked for a higher up. She should have given it up. Like my uncle is very much not a Karen, but he has worked so many like call service jobs and retail jobs that he gets to the point where if he has a problem and it needs to be solved, he goes, you don't get paid enough for me to yell at you. Give me somebody who does get paid. And you know what happens is he starts off polite, and usually they'll be like, hey, we'll comp your meal, or we'll send you a gift card for $100 or something like that. Like he does it in a nice way, but he does not start with the like bottom of the barrel phone call. He's like, give me your boss's boss. Like, so. But no, everyone's the asshole. She should have tried to solve the situation. It was poor customer service. She should tried to solve the situation, and when she couldn't, she should have given up to the boss. But also, he's the asshole. But he's your kind of asshole.
He's a bamf, man.
He's a bamf. Which it was funny. Probably didn't need to call her a cunt, but I mean, as an Australian.
I mean, maybe he's in Australia.
No, I could tell an Australian from an Australian.
Since you're not Australian.
Fuck you, I am Australian.
I want to see the results. Where's your 23andMe?
You want to see my results? How about that, you cunt?
Yeah, I want to see your 23andMe.
I don't have a 23andMe.
Well,
I am
one.
Australian, though.
Until then, you're not Australian.
I'm going to hit you. So, anyway, your thoughts?
Oh, he is absolutely not the asshole. Not the asshole. Not even 1%. This guy did exactly what he was supposed to do. Flat out. So one thing, and I'm sure half of the responses down here that are like, you're an asshole because you treated her like crap and you didn't have to do that. You screamed at somebody for 3 hours. You have no authority to do what you wanted. The correct answer was to inform him that you would seek legal solutions as soon as you know what? They don't respond to that. They just go, okay, whatever. We'll just send you to collections. Why? Because most people fold.
Yeah.
Flat out. And they will pay it because they don't want to go through the cost of whatever else. By him yelling for that long, they knew he was serious. Like, flat out, he's going to get freaking a lawyer. The other thing people need to realize is it is in most people's like policies not to hand it off to a supervisor, not to do customer service. I worked for a company, and that's flat out what they told me is our call center is basically directed to make it as uncomfortable for you to talk to them so that you will give up and not try to get a refund, not try to get any kind of help.
Yeah,
because it's just not worth it. The sheer amount of money that you would put into it is not going to pay for it. Like, you will be paying 100 times like fold the amount of money just to try to get it resolved than if you just say, screw it, I'll take the loss on this. And that's what 90% of these companies do. No, he did exactly what he was supposed to do because this is the only way to get through to these bastards.
Yeah.
No, he is not the asshole. I don't care what any of these idiots say because they have no concept of what it's actually supposed to be like.
So the one you read in your mocking voice actually helped defend your statement. Emma had the authority to pass the phone to her manager, and that would have ended the drama so much earlier. Instead, she chose to harass the original poster for payment for a botched procedure and continue the drama. I'm not saying OP was right to scream at her, but I don't appreciate people trying to fleece me either. So.
Yeah, right here. It's quite possible Emma literally could not have passed the phone. I mean, you literally can. It's literally just going, huh. But I worked in a customer service call center where the supervisors and managers would literally not let me transfer. Yeah, you're not supposed to. Like, flat out, they tell you not to. They don't want you to because if they're just unusually difficult, you hang up.
Yeah. This
guy did exactly what he needed to do, which was call for 3 more hours until he literally could get that. Yeah, you'll get reprimanded. That's what I'm saying. Most of these people do not understand that are calling this guy an asshole, that this is how you have to deal with this situation.
Yeah. There's
this is very likely little Emma could have done nothing in this situation other than pray for her manager or hope to have mercy.
So you're absolutely right. So I will say, working in customer service, there's a lot of things that people assume as a customer that we as employees have to do or need to do. And I will be honest, and you've worked many years as also a manager, and I don't know if you really ever had to like cashier fully.
I have.
But a lot of times I've always argued the customer is almost never right.
Oh, they're never right.
They're never right. And the fucking prick who was like, the customer's always right is bullshit, and he was the original Karen. But it's one of those things where it's they're almost never right. For people who listen to this podcast, let me assure you, the best course of action when you have a problem is to be fairly nice in a calm manner and not be a cunt, like this guy said, and to try and find a solution and not go overhanded. Like, I deserve this refund. No.
Yeah. So I will say, this is one thing that kind of irritates me with, like, am I the asshole here? So this guy's got an asshole rating, right? Like, flat out. Yeah, he's got an asshole rating. But it's because you have people like this where it's like, you're an asshole. This guy responded. Instead of responding, he should have just wrote a not the asshole post.
Yeah.
So should have this person, and then this person, and then this person, and then this person. But a lot of them are agreeing that, like, yeah, it's flat out, like, you'd probably get reprimanded for it. It makes him not the asshole, like, flat out.
Yeah.
They just need to make their own posts instead of just commenting on somebody else's.
Yeah.
This guy should not be the asshole. This guy is a BAMF because he did exactly what he needed to do to save himself money.
All I'm saying is that there are policies in place that, like Brad said, that there are call centers that they make it so frustrating, and I've had to deal with it. I've had a thing where because of Obamacare, I had to register for insurance, or I would get penalized and stuff, and I had this whole thing where I thought I got scammed because the fucker put my information down. Like he didn't add an E in my last name, and the honestly, even the address was wrong. And so not only was money taken out of my account, but I never got any insurance card. And so when I canceled it, claiming it was framed, just know that there are policies in place to make it so frustrating
Yep.
that
You can't do it.
you can't do it. But luckily I did, and I got insurance and still got screwed up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So you're an asshole on this, or at least everybody sucks. Nope, he's not an asshole. So I'm going against the grain here.
yeah, I'm at least saying that society is also the asshole. So this post got deleted, but you're able to find it in the comments.
Yeah.
Um.
So let's see here. Is it me reading?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Unless you want me to read, because you don't like some of these not the asshole ones.
Am I the asshole for banning my husband and father-in-law from the delivery room due to their intensely stressful/creepy behavior during my pregnancy?
I just picture like in Jackass when they're like they have like a blow up dick and they're just like humping it or whatever, like baby's coming out of you, like they're just doing some lewd gestures, and it's very not needed when you're pushing out a baby's head through something this big. So that's what I pictured.
A lot of context. The character limit cuts off, but here's the gist. My husband and I are expecting our first child, which I knew would be a really sensitive issue at his own mother died in childbirth with him. We met with a marriage counselor to talk things through at the beginning, and he swears he's been seeing his own therapist twice a month through my pregnancy. I don't want to call him a liar, but I'm fairly sure he's either not going or not talking about the big issue. He and his father, a hugely active part of our lives, are completely convinced that I'm going to die in childbirth.
I think I've read this.
They won't openly admit it, but their behavior has reached the point where it's consistently making me feel stressed and uncomfortable.
They're watching Star Wars Revenge of the Sith, and they stop it when Padme is giving birth.
That's you!
That's you! They're treating it as a documentary.
When it was husband saying, please make sure your life insurance is up to date, and I'd like you to meet with a lawyer and draft a will, I was like, that's kind of intense, but okay, if that makes you feel better. When husband asked me to go through all of my possessions and inventory what I wanted to be saved for the baby versus what I would want to be returned to my family in the event of my death, I put my foot down and said absolutely not. Too morbid. No way. My father-in-law, who lives a few blocks away and eats dinner with us 2 to 4 nights a week, got on my case about how I was making things difficult for my husband in the event that he will be a grieving widower with a newborn. I'm just gonna add here that I've had a completely complication-free pregnancy and have no reason to think I will die screaming in the coming months. When I tell my husband this, he calls me paranoid, but I feel like my father-in-law wants me to die. His whole life identity for the past 35 years has been amazing single dad. Never dated or had close friends or even hobbies, really. And it seems like he's looking forward to be able to guide my husband through what he went through. At this point, I'd honestly be happy to never see father-in-law again, and I certainly don't want him to be in the delivery room, especially since he told me he was putting his foot down about me not being allowed to have an epidural or laughing gas. He's a commanding presence, and I know that whatever he wants in the delivery room, he will get. I know people will say, oh, L&D nurses would never let that happen, but you haven't met this man. My husband, in addition to backing his dad on everything, acts like my due date is my death date and has completely pulled away from me. Every minute with him is morbid, stressful, and a reminder that our marriage seems to be crumbling. No matter how many times I tell him his behavior makes me stressed and upset, it just getting worse. I do not want it around me while I'm concentrating on giving birth. Do I owe it to my husband to let him stress and upset me during labor? Is his presence at the birth more important than a safe and healthy delivery? My therapist says no, but this whole thing has been so weird, and I feel like I need some outside perspective. Commander in Cheeks.
I would like to be a commander in her cheeks. Am I right? Ew.
Yeah, you get one for that.
Fuck yeah. Ooh boy.
Oh.
Morbid mommy is Brad, do you want to go first, or you want me to go first? All right, I'll go first. That's not a fun situation. Brad, I don't know about you, but so we often talk that I'm able to put myself in other people's shoes, right? And since we've talked about Quiet Place recently, I would absolutely hate to give birth. That does not sound like anything remotely of anything I want to do. Especially in Quiet Place, when she's just like, as a monster's coming and she has to be quiet while she's in severe pain.
Yeah.
No, thank you. Having her husband and father-in-law around being like, you're next, like, is equivalent to a monster. Like, so yeah, not the asshole. Good God. It sucks that, like, I kind of got the fact that she likes her father-in-law, but since he was kind of being a prick about this whole thing,
Now doesn't like him.
Yeah, which is unfortunate, and it sucks that, like, I'm sorry for the husband and the father-in-law to, have the mom and wife pass away, but and I get the steadfastness of it, and being prepared in the event of a death. Like I am currently in the process of being prepared for, what happened, what do I want after I go? Like, I'm in a process similar. But I'm also not in a huge rush. I'm 25, I'm fairly healthy, and I'm not expecting to get hit by a car anytime soon because I look both ways. Fun fact. But I definitely get the urgency of it, but not to a certain extent. It was a complication-free birth. So not the asshole. I don't even want to say that the father-in-law and the husband are assholes. The way they went about it is the asshole.
I mean, they probably kind of are assholes. I do wonder, though, how much of this is, like, joking. Like me and you, we deal with drama in a very specific way, which is making jokes out of shit.
Yes,
constantly. So I wonder if some of this is. I do have a secondary question, though. Like,
I'll answer it.
I say in general, yeah, they're probably assholes, but I'm not going to say they're severe assholes. They're just like, they're asshole light, right?
Asshole light. I got the pre-trial for being an asshole.
But, I mean,
the beta phase.
She's not going to be an asshole for keeping them out of the delivery room. If anything, they get to do the old 50s thing of having cigars out in the waiting room. So, like, good on you. But I've been scrolling down for a while. I've seen one update from her, but it was more like her just answering a question. I haven't seen an update. Are we sure she didn't die during the death? After the birth?
Scroll up. Go to her actual account, because it sucks that the post got deleted. But click on Morbid Mommy. This was from a year ago, so
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. There's been no update. Maybe she's not around to do an update.
Let me see. Yeah, I mean, all of these are from a year ago, so I mean,
maybe he's a soothsayer. I mean, it's kind of morbid to say, but yeah.
No, Morbid Mommy. Ooh boy.
But in general, to her question, no, she would not be the asshole for holding him out of the delivery room.
Uh, yeah, and everything's. This, you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of the time we read that story
And I
about
was
the
like,
the
"Yeah,
husband,
I bet she's already dead.
the husband having an affair, and the child was like, I don't feel safe around my
Yeah,
dad.
yeah. Ooh,
Here you go.
Uh,
So hey, you know what? This was an interesting.
Yeah.
Not the asshole.
I will say she does have some previous misconceptions though, because she's like, I'm afraid that he'll hold me from getting an epidural or whatever else because he's got a very commanding voice.
Yeah.
You know what's the most commanding voice? A goddamn like woman pregnant in pain screaming in the delivery room. That is the most commanding voice
Yeah.
at that point.
If she wants it, she gets it.
Yeah. So
Um. Yeah, I agree. I also. I feel like, did we do an asshole story or a advice story, or did I just read it on my own accord? But of the husband wanting to name their kid a certain name, but I was like, see, I don't like that. Where it's like, and someone actually told me that the woman gets the final approve of said name, right? Like, or she has to sign off. Like, both parents' signatures have to sign off on the birth certificate, right?
not always, no.
Not always. Okay. All right. I don't. Am I the asshole for not allowing my
Oh, hey, now, rocket.
rocket? For not allowing my disabled neighbor to park in my driveway and getting her car towed, despite the previous owner allowing it. I bought a house a few months ago and moved in last month. The previous owner was a friendly old man that could no longer live alone, so he decided to sell and move in with his daughter. Just to be clear, I put disabled in quotation marks because the lady in question is just really, really overweight. And I'm not sure if that counts as disabled. Brad? Since you are the...
I mean, we're on Justified Asshole, which is on Reddit, which means this lady's just being fat phobic. I mean, flat out, obviously.
I was about to say, let's go to our professional news coordinator of all things
Is
people.
really, really overweight a disability? No. Your
Then-
answer. There you go.
But then
Move
again,
on.
sometimes they do get placards. But anyway, now apparently he had been allowing use of his driveway to his disabled neighbor lady, largely because street parking is extremely limited, and what little street parking there is, it is pretty much instantly occupied. What I'm saying is, unless you have a driveway, you end up having to park a good 5-minute walk away, and that's the best case scenario. Obviously, I was unaware of this, so I was surprised to see a large SUV parked in my driveway when I moved in. I ended up having to knock on several doors asking whose car it was because the movers could not stand still on the busy road too long. I figured out it was a neighbor's car, so after a good 10 minutes of knocking, an extremely angry, enormous lady opened the door. I told her to move the car, and she immediately started arguing that the neighbors said it was fine. I told her he moved out, I moved in, and no, it's not fine, and to move it because the movers need to unload my stuff. She begrudgingly did. I ended up seeing her walk back half an hour later and completely wet with sweat. Now, a few days later, I went back to work, and lo and behold, the SUV is parked in my driveway again. I go over there again, spend 20 minutes knocking on the door before this lady opens the door. Again, visibly angry, I tell her to move her car. My driveway is not public parking. She protests, saying her ankles can't take walking the distance and claims I can easily walk. I tell her that while that might be true, it's my goddamn driveway and I want to park there myself. Again, she moves her car. Again, I spot her half an hour later, drenched in sweat, making her way home. Well, it happened again a week ago, and this time she would not open her door. I got tired of it and had her SUV towed. She, of course, came to my house to scream at me. I told her to get the hell out off of my property. A few days later, I had a small fence installed with a lock on it to make sure it did not happen again. I have since been getting dirty looks from her and one other neighbor, and when I told my mom, she told me I should be nicer to people. I do feel sort of bad too. She clearly struggles with the walk after all.
You know what? If she just keeps walking, she won't struggle that much longer.
Not the asshole, in my opinion. The lady's definitely the asshole. She could at least like had a talk with him about, like what once she found out the information of that the old man moved out, which was very nice of him to allow her to do that. But once a new person got in, then that's a different case. I actually saw a video that I watched. It was this like a beachfront property, and it was a bunch of like young college people living there.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was like they had 3 cars themselves, and of course by the beach, parking is a disaster. And this family with this minivan and stuff parked in their driveway, and he goes, "Hey, you can't park there, this is my driveway." And they go, "Well, I don't see your car." And he goes, "Yeah, because it's over there." And they go, "Yeah, whatever." Like they just assumed this guy was just causing a problem just to cause a problem. And so they were like, "Nah, fuck you, I'm not moving my car." And they went to the beach. And so he was like, "All right, guess I'm not going to work today." Went inside, called the cops. The cops showed up, started to tow the van, and the van got towed, and the people showed up and started knocking on the door and was like, "Yo, where's our car?" And the guy was like, "I told you I was gonna tow it." And he goes, "You don't even live here." And he's like, I don't even live here. What do you think I'm doing in this house anyway? Like I answered the front door, and you're saying I don't live here? And so the guy started getting belligerent and stuff, and he closed the door. He called the cops, and it just turned into a whole thing. And the both the husband and the wife were like bitching at him. And I was just like, "Nope, you're in the wrong." So anyway.
Yeah, I don't really care. Yeah, not the asshole. Not the asshole.
We're just reading the same thing. She should get a placard.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna go with fully not the asshole here.
You know what? If anything, she should call TLC and maybe get a show made out for her.
She probably already does.
Yeah, maybe it's from the what was the thing we kind of got a glimpse of in
Vegas.
In Vegas.
The
Like my 800-pound sister or something
like that.
or
Tammy and something else. Yeah.
Yeah, the something sisters, the 800-pound sisters or something like that. Yeah. Ugh. Oh. Your dad's a truck driver. You know what? Nice insult.
Silent Bob.
Speed Blue.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna go flat out with a not the asshole in this one.
Yeah. You know what it does remind me of? It does remind me of both the cigarette butts that the guy mailed back, and also the one who had to put a special cover on his like altimeter or his Wi-Fi or whatever. Yeah. Hey, can you also paint your house? Like, some people just, the nerve of some of these people. All right, finish it off. You're the one who picked this one. You're the one who wanted to read it because you were very confused.
I was a little confused. Well, just because I'm curious on what movie's here. So, am I the asshole for getting mad at my girlfriend who refuses to watch anything with child stars, which really limits what we can watch? I'm just confused at what's considered with a child star.
Hold on. I want to stop you already. The second line, she became a vegan. Oh, no.
Well, she's the asshole. We already know. I don't need to read any further. We're done. All right. My girlfriend is the type who will really make choices on her life based on her beliefs. She became vegan. She quit a job over ethical concerns. She sold her car to get a bike, etc. She buys nearly nothing new, only secondhand or homemade. This is something I always admired about her, but recently we had an argument about a new choice of hers, which I kind of understand, but I also kind of find frustrating. She decided to stop watching any media with a child stars or child actors in it, including reality TV, family YouTubers, or any YouTubers that have their kids in the videos and fictional movies and TV. So
What about-
anything.
What about books?
So anything?
So books about children, like it?
No, because you're not actually using them. You're just writing about made-up children.
I mean, fictional movies is made up children.
Yeah, but you're actually using child stars.
I-
Okay, so I do see
I
where
get
this
your point.
limits, though.
Yeah.
I do see where this limits.
Yeah.
Like almost every movie ever made. Yeah.
It's more of it's more like she's against the child labor
Yeah.
of that.
She said it was because the industry is too exploitative and puts children in the public eye and under so much attention of the rest of their life, and they aren't developmentally prepared to understand what they are getting into, if they even were given a choice at all. And that's just like we shouldn't let 5-year-olds decide to go into a factory because they don't want to play at being a grown-up, or a 10-year-old to drive because they don't want to be a trucker when they grow up. We shouldn't let kids decide to start, so if they can't understand it, we also probably shouldn't allow them to change their gender. Never mind. I'm going off on a tangent here. Hold on. I get it. I know some of our stories coming out of Hollywood are really bad, but I felt frustrated because one of the big things we do together, especially recently when everyone had been stuck at home, is chill at home and watch TV or movies together. And you don't really realize how much media has in it. She drew a line at significant character roles. So if there are any extras or a kid in the shot who isn't a meaningful reoccurring actor, that's fine. But if they are playing a character, she gets put off immediately and doesn't want to keep watching.
So Godzilla versus Kong would be out.
I'd almost say just Quiet Place also.
Yeah, Quiet Place.
Because they're main actors.
Yep.
It's also frustrating when we want to host some backyard movie nights with a projector. She wasn't interested in joining for any of the stuff the group wanted to watch, when that used to be something social that we used to do together. I got so frustrated with her that I told her she was overreacting, that it was stupid of her to put her feelings about kids who are ending up with sometimes millions of dollars over stuff like her relationship or social life, and that sometimes I and our friends just want to watch a movie and not think about how it's making might be problematic. So she got upset with me for the stupid comment and said that she just didn't want to see that shit anymore. I could if I wanted, but all she wanted was to not watch something that disgusted her without being made to feel stupid. I feel kind of bad because she isn't telling me or my friends that they have to do the same. She just is making a choice for herself. But I also feel upset because that choice for herself is affecting our friendship and social life.
I like that. I was gonna make the comment if she said she didn't want to see that shit anymore. I almost was like, whoa, you're vegan. You can't say that. This one got an asshole tag, right? I don't think he's the asshole.
No, I don't either.
No. So I do have another question. Is what about animated movies that have kids voice things? So
is there a lot of kids voicing though? That there's a lot more adults that voice kids than there are the other way around.
I agree, but like for example, Up. There's a kid voicing the Boy Scout in that one. Iron Giant, the main Garth, is voiced by a child. So what about those movies? But then again, like say Moana, I think the person voicing Moana, even though, is like my age. So I mean, but yeah, I don't think the asshole. There was a point I was going to make. This keeps happening to me. You talk, I'll think.
Yeah, no, I'm going with a full board. Just he's not an asshole. Like I don't get it.
I remember what I was going to say, but if you want to keep going. Okay.
Go.
So her whole problem is like the kids don't get developmentally like adjusted, right? Is the argument, which I will admit there are some cases like there are some kids that go harder into drugs and then have a whole like upward spiral of some of the things, right? So like Danny Bonaducci, I don't know if you know who that is. I watched a lot of I can't remember the show, but it was like World's Dumbest, and it was like World's Dumbest Robbers or whatever. And so it had a lot of child stars like Danny Bonaducci, who was a child star back in the 70s.
Why are you naming people that nobody knows? Just flat out go with something everybody knows. Lindsay Lohan.
Well, I'm making a point. Well, I'm making a point. So like Danny Bonaducci, like got hard into drugs when he was like 15. Mm-hmm. But then again, like Lawrence Fishburne. Well, Lawrence Fishburne is like his first movie was Apocalypse Now, and he got on to the movie when he was 15 and did drugs with a bunch of the cast members. He said he was 18. So, but I mean, look at him now. He was fucking Morpheus, and he's a huge Hollywood actor. And then there's also Ralph Macchio, the Karate Kid. He went and he started in a few movies like The Outsiders and Karate Kid and movies like that. But he went and got an education. He went and did something else. He came back for like Karate Kid or Cobra Kai series and stuff. But I don't know if you know this. He was I don't know the proper term, but he actually worked for Marvel Comics for a little bit as not an editor, but like a comic supervisor. And he actually worked with Robert Kirkman, who did Walking Dead, and when he went over and did actually Ralph Macchio talked to Robert Kirkman and was like, hey, you want to come write a comic, Marvel Zombies? And he was like, yeah, sure. Listen, when Ralph Macchio, the Karate Kid, asks you to write a comic book, you write a comic book. So not all cases, but I see your point. But still, it's not like for me as a huge movie person, it's not a big thing. If that was the case, now granted she buys like secondhand and stuff, but if that was the case, then you shouldn't be buying Nike sneakers or Puma sneakers.
Even if they're secondhand Nikes, it still doesn't matter. They're still made by children in freaking China. 90% of shit she probably buys still is, whether it's secondhand or not. This guy, she's still probably a hypocrite.
You know what that reminds me of?
Flat out.
You know what that reminds me of? When people were buying Nike sneakers because of Colin Kaepernick and burning them and in protest, and we were like, "You idiot! You spent money on Nikes just to burn them.
Yeah,
they have your money. They don't care what happens to the Nikes afterwards."
Yeah, but see, we knew. Second line. That's all we needed to know. She was the asshole, not him. This is wrong. He's not the asshole.
I wonder what her job was that she had to quit because of ethical concerns. Like, did she?
It's probably anything. Who the hell knows?
Did she put a pin to the cow and shoot the pin through the skull to kill the cow?
No. She's probably just a secretary, and then she got a male boss. Is all it was.
She sold her car. Like, she just went from like, I don't want to say normal, but normal to all the way hippie.
Oh no, not hippie. Crazy feminist. That's what she went. She went crazy feminist.
Crazy.
By the
hippie.
way, this is not a big thing at all, because how much you want to bet she lives in a big city? Like, you can't get away with that, like, where I'm at. Like,
right.
I do not live close enough somewhere that I can sell my car and get a bike, and then make it to work and everything else, or even get groceries. But if you're in a big city that's got actually public transit, you're fine. So that just tells me she lives in a city, so it doesn't really matter. She can walk around anyways. Because she's in a city, she can go to the store and buy anything vegan she wants, even though it's probably made by it's probably made by Amazon, which probably has some of the worst child labor laws. But hey, good for you. You're able to go vegan because you live in a big city. And she quit her job over ethical concerns. It was probably a shitty job anyways. Who cares?
I'm vegan. You know what I find funny of like I don't know about, well, you You have a weird thing with fruits and vegetables. Is you can't eat them. You have to grind them up in a smoothie, right?
Well, I like fruits. I just don't like vegetables. So that's an easy way. And I don't see myself just sitting down and just being like, oh, vegetables. Like that's not really like what I do and eat. So
Right.
to me, it's easier if I'm gonna get fruits and vegetables, just get some that I can freeze in the freezer and then just pull out, throw in a smoothie really quickly and make.
Have you still been doing that?
Not lately. I need to actually buy some more.
Okay. So I don't mind. I don't eat a lot of fruits just because I'm not a fruity person. But like I don't eat watermelon or strawberries or anything. Maybe a banana, but I don't go towards fruit. I go more towards vegetables. I don't mind vegetables. Like I like peas and corns and green beans and asparagus, and I don't like broccoli unless it's prepared a certain way. But also broccoli's gross. Ew.
That's asparagus. It's gross.
I don't mind it if you season it right.
Nope.
I'm sorry. Is this your moment? Am I stepping on your moment? No, you're stepping on mine.
Ugh.
The point I was making was I don't mind like sitting down and eating a salad while my food is getting made. Like I'll munch down on a salad. I won't eat it all, but I'll eat it till my main course comes. I love it, by the way, when someone is vegan and they tell someone that they're vegan from that aspect of like a vegan tells a person who eats meat that they're vegan. I love that people who eat meat almost always double down. Like they're just like they're like, "Oh, you're vegan? Cool. I'm going to go buy a 7-foot sausage link just to eat it in front of you." Like
buying half a cow now.
Yeah, they go to extreme lengths. I remember seeing a post of this neighbor.
That's so me though. Like if I was to
it's so
go
you.
on like a date with somebody and they're like, I'm vegan, I'm like, triple cheeseburger, please. Like
Yeah.
like just
Yes, a triple
The biggest.
cheeseburger with a side of an 8-ounce sirloin,
Yeah.
please. Yeah. It reminds me that is so you. But it does
and
remind
a glass of milk. And I hate milk.
You order a salad anyway, but you just take it and you just
Bacon bits.
you dump it on the ground and then you just eat the bacon. But it reminds me of the story of this person's neighbor who he was cooking up a meal and she decided to leave like a nasty note, like saying I'm vegan and stuff, and causing a whole big situation. And so what he did was he caused a big situation and he invited like all of the people over and they cooked up every kind of meat you could think of. And they just would waft it over the fence towards her. So, but anyway, that was my tangent. I don't mind people who are vegan. I don't care as much as you do. It's like religion. Don't try to conform me to your religion that I don't believe in. Also, don't try and make me vegan. I like to eat a steak or a burger. I'm just saying.
God. Plants have feelings too.
Yeah. I suck in air.
Oh, we're assholes.
But yeah, we are absolutely assholes. This guy, not so much. I don't think so.
Not really. Plus, it's just gonna affect his relationship. Like,
Yeah.
and that's the other thing. Like, she's doing this because it's her beliefs. Well, her beliefs are gonna ruin the relationship. Which, by the way, I feel like they're already ruined. Because if I go back here, it's really affecting our friendship and social life. He didn't even say relationship in here. It should have been relationship and social life. He's already deemed it a friendship now. Like, as writing this, he's just like, I think I'm done with this.
You have to. I don't think that's the case because you got to look back. I feel kind of bad because she isn't telling me or my friends they have to do the same. She's just making a choice for herself. So it's not like she's pushing it on others other than the boyfriend because they like to spend
but
time
I also
together.
feel upset because that choice for herself is affecting our friendship. Our, as in their two.
Oh, I was taking that more of like
The first sentence,
group,
yes.
of
But
the
this
group
one, the way
friendship.
it's worded, it's theirs. See, and he's already downgraded it. So do what the first person said on here. I think it was the first or whatever. It might have been the second.
A soft, you're the
But
asshole. You're
maybe
a soft asshole.
You two aren't compatible.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm very curious. So when they go out to go to a grocery store, and he's like, all right, I'll get the car ready, and she's like, okay, I'll meet you there. Bring. Like, she just has her bicycle ready. Like,
so I have so many different questions for people like this. They're like, I can't do that because you're exploiting children in that. Do you not buy Girl Scout cookies? Because let's be honest, they're not making shit off of that, but you're exploiting the shit out of like little girls just to sell cookies.
Yep.
That's big ass companies. And then they turn around and use that to sell like cereal. We have like new coffee where I work that are like Girl Scout cookie flavored. So do you not eat Girl Scout cookies either? Like, there's so many other things that exploit children that I'm curious if she also doesn't do that stuff.
I will also say that I love the fact that, one little thing, like if she buys something like a package off of Amazon, she becomes a huge hypocrite because of that.
Yeah.
But she wouldn't be as much of a hypocrite if she didn't make it a bigger deal.
Yeah.
Like if I was like, hey, I'm good. I personally don't like, children in movies because of the blah, 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 blah. And then I just go, but hey, I ordered something off of Amazon. It wouldn't be as big of a deal. But if I make it a mission to not see a movie, like Quiet Place, we just watched recently. If I went and saw Quiet Place Part 2 and was like, oh, there's kids in this? Also, why am I just now coming to the realization, not arguing the first one? But if I was like, there's kids in this? Oh, that's disgraceful. And I leave after already paying a ticket and making a whole hubbub of getting a reimbursement, then I do something like I order Nikes from a factory in China.
So, I mean, other questions also arise. Like, you won't watch shows like this, but do you pay for like a Netflix subscription that pays for shows like Mr. Iglesias that is about a school setting where he's teaching kids and it's all child actors?
Yeah.
Because by getting that subscription, you're allowing them to make shows like that, or Disney Plus, or like every like one of these services do these things. So do you not support anything? Do you not have a TV at all? Like, basically, like, pay for any streaming services, no movies?
You know what? I was gonna make the argument that she only watches one movie, and that's Die Hard, because there's no kids in it. But there is about like a minute where a kid shows up. So like, fuck. But the third one, there's kids in the background because they're evacuating school. So fuck. Second one, I don't like the second one, so I can't think if there's a kid. The fourth one, though, I don't think there's a kid.
Well, which one is the fourth one? Is that Fire Sale?
Yeah.
No, there's some just in the public and stuff like that. Just not.
Well,
she's talking main actor, so I mean, yes. But then again, you're still giving money to like Paramount Pictures, which gives it to other movies that allow child actors. That's what I'm saying. Like, by supporting one, you support the others.
Wait, does she pay taxes? Because cops beat down kids. We've talked. I've always hated the argument of I pay your salary. I'm a taxpayer. I pay your salary. No.
I'm just saying, like, her choices make no sense. Like, she's looking at it superficially.
Yeah.
Like, I'm being a good person, except for her own choices, I'm sure, also do the same thing.
Again, it's the whole, because she's making a big deal out of it, she becomes a bigger hypocrite.
Yeah.
Because but then again, we also don't know her. We don't know her place. I'm just saying, if she did, like, she could watch a movie. Hell, you could watch a movie with your boyfriend, lady, and be on your phone. Like, you could, as long as it's more about the spending of the time, not necessarily like what you're watching. So, I mean,
yeah,
but whatever.
All right.
Well, podcast done. Plug our stuff.
Don't you tell me what to do.
I'm sorry.
Asshole.
You know what? Your father's a trucker. I love that insult. That's a good one. You're bang out of order. Follow us on YouTube at Best Friends Discuss. Follow us on Facebook at Best Friends Discuss. Follow us on. Are we on Instagram? No, we're not, because they are child molesters. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know about that one. Allegedly, I don't know.
I disavow everything that this man is saying.
know what? I don't know.
You're bang out of order.
I am
sir.
bang out of order.
You're bang out of order.
That's not true. I don't know.
I'm sorry, he had a minor seizure right there.
Yeah, I had a stroke. It just blurted out. But then again, we don't use the Instagram, so it's fine.
Forget that and just listen to us wherever you love podcasts.
Buy our merch.
See ya.
I don't feel good about it.